Well, we can see what Marcus thinks about the game today, and as he will now join us for his analysis of an exciting game for the neutral, not so exciting for the home team or the home manager. Extraordinary game, Marcus. Where do you begin with this one? At 4-1, you must have thought at last, and then suddenly 10 minutes later, 4-4, a contentious decision thrown in there, some appalling decisions made in, but as I said to Nigel there earlier, got the 5th goal that counts.
Well, if I was a Kettering fan, I'd make sure we go to Histon, because my previous Histon game was 4-3. I think a certain Callum Wilson scored the winner, where I think we went 3-1 down at half time. And I think that was a very few times Imran actually rang me and said you can have more goals in every game. So 4-3 today 5-4. So what are we saying, 6-5 at their place? Well, crazy 10 minutes. 4-1, heavily in control. Previous to the goal, Mullers had indicated he was struggling and he needed to come off. I mean, I wouldn't say we forced him to play, but we worked extremely hard to make sure he was out there, and he did a fantastic job for us. And it just seemed to we had to make that change. We felt comfortable, and then we imploded on possibly not dealing with uncontrollables.
Yeah, one of those uncontrollables was the second goal, which looked like a blatant offside. We can't actually show you that at the moment. We can put it on the highlight package for you later to look at, but I don't think Glenn's got that one keyed up. But everybody, except the Histon fans, and certainly on that gantry, because it was a blatant offside. Then to hear the comments with the linesman came out with, which you must have heard.
I'm not going to go too much into the officials. I think there was more of what they think's happened than actually what was happening throughout. I mean, there was numerous fouls against us that seemed to not warrant a yellow card and never come, and yet we had one or two lads that made their first foul and the yellow card was quite freely coming. There was incidents in the first half where the lads just come through Courtney, didn't give it, and yet 2 minutes after and 4 minutes after that there was a similar situation and he gave the fouls. And we didn't deal with the uncontrollables. At the end of the day, we can't control what he does, we can't control what the linesman does, and we got to be stronger and dealing with that scenario, and we didn't. He is offside. The ball has gone forward from their player. Admittedly, whether he intended it, I don't know, but I'm unsure in the rule where he says you have to have deliberately played it forward to be offside, because you could throw in every contentious ball, because I was being ironic when Will played a ball through and I was saying he tried to play it wide. How can you determine what the lad was doing? So it happened really quickly. I think that the linesman dug himself a bit of a hole, and he probably should have just said we'll see it after. He couldn't really answer the question, or he felt he did answer. And well, for me, we were a bit in shock, weren't we? And the opposition.
Well, 2 goals very quickly, wasn't it? Both unmarked at the.
Well, I mean, we do a considerable amount of work. We do a lot of talking. We discuss about being ball side, goal side. We talk about concentrating on your own man, and fundamentally we've allowed another free header, and then not only a free header, the lad has run off someone to go score, and I think they're possibly the 2 smallest players on the pitch, which is frightening, really, considering from a very controlled position. Exactly. and in their 18-yard box, I actually felt we were going to score off every corner. There was numerous ricochets or chances. I think Richie scored from the corner, and Brett has scored.
Well, 5 different goals for us for a start, isn't it?
I mean that's exciting, and we've still got a lot of work to do. Positive in fact that we're scoring goals, taking the chances. I think Courtney was unfortunate not to.
Drew had a point blanket, didn't he, as well?
Yeah, but
Did you see also that when Brian got his goal, that Langdon was being manhandled down for a penalty, which the referee didn't even acknowledge, or it was if hadn't scored, would we've got the penalty? Who knows? But
well, we don't know. Like I said, they're uncontrollables. We've got to deal with it. They are frustrating at times, but there will be games where they've missed. We're just not getting the rub of the green on.
Let's see if we can get some goals for you. We've got Kettering's 5th one lined up at the moment. This is the winner, I think it is, over here. You can see up there 4-4. Talk us through this one, what you saw of this one, Marcus.
Well, we probably, to an outsider, probably thinks that we haven't got any set up, but we've got 4 lads that deliberately make certain runs off a delivery, and you can see we're covering all areas of the goal there. And now we're just reacting to the second ball, aren't we? And I suppose by outnumbering them, and just we've had a bit of luck, it's landed to us for a change rather than landing to one of their lads. And fair play to the boys, he's took it. He's had a bit of a mixed time with us, and I thought he came in and he's going to probably beat himself up because he came on at 4-1 and he's come back at 5-4. But I can't really look at other than the fact that he's gone to clear it and the lads blocked it. Whether he can't be at fault for that because the lad's clearly offside.
Can we see the bad challenge that you've got lined up, please, Glenn, at the end? Here we go on this one. Let's run through this one. There's Doobie. Had a good first half, Doobie, didn't he?
Yeah, we're getting there with Doobie. We're understanding each other and what we want. I mean, we've slightly changed our dynamics to accommodate his strengths. And I think for a lot of the time it worked really well. He's had a loose touch there, and I mean about 20 minutes earlier, Doobie was being asked to be quiet to get away from the ref because there wasn't many yellow cards for them sort of tackles against him from in behind, and that's continuous. Now, would that player have made that challenge if he was on a yellow card?
No.
And they're the things we're frustrated. I mean, Richie Bryan was on 45 seconds and got his yellow card on his
2 minutes. The same with your new guy. He performed quite well, didn't he?
Yeah, I was really happy with Michael.
Richard,
and he's a steady Eddie. He was a bit nervous to begin with.
Yeah, he made a couple of rash challenges or missed challenges down here, didn't he? And
he was just getting the feel of it.
Of course.
And I think as the game we grew into the game, he showed a lot of strength. And with his defensive qualities and getting forward, it helped us at times because of the way we're trying to shape up. He did give us that width when we needed to, and the uncontrollable has really sent carnage into the game, and we haven't dealt with it. But we've come out with 3 points, and for the neutral, they've walked away with 9 goals.
9 goals, very rare to see 9 goals in the game, but you did today, and we can show you the Kettering first goal scored by Liam, and so show that one on here. And for all you that won't be watching this, you'll see all this on the highlights package in the near future. But here we go, Marcus.
I mean, we are playing quite an open game, and there is a lot of quality throughout the time. And I think we get a bit frustrated sometimes where little things don't come off, but we're certainly technically good enough. And when we do find each other, let's create a good chance as a block. We're quick to react, and fair play to Liam. He's been relaxed and a bit similar to what he did on last Saturday. So he scored 2 and 3 now, which
we
is
can show you Brett's bullet header.
Like I said, we do set up. Quite funny that the reports from oppositions is that they don't think we actually got anything lined up. So I'm quite happy for that.
Yeah.
And we do mix the deliveries up, and Brett. To be fair, Brett's had a fair few opportunities off corners, and he has scored 1 or 2. And it's just nice. He's got that ability. The reason he's in that pack because we know if he gets the chance, he will take it.
And there was the foul on Doobie that led to the penalty. We can see the foul first of all, and it led to a couple of bookings for the Histon players, didn't it?
Yeah, I think what we're seeing at times is the opposition and ourselves at our age and being quite naive and getting emotionally led with the officials when there's things that we can be concentrating on, and I think that's what they sort of suffered there. But once again, that's a good feed into him, great feet, and like I said, I'm seeing more of that and really getting excited by that, and I can work with players who want to give us that length, and I felt Courtney worked off him to lead the line, win the headers, and allow Doobie to pop in them areas, and
a much better penalty, wasn't it?
Yeah.
This time he didn't. He hit the thing, didn't he? Rather than trying to do something with it.
I think the fact that he's already scored 2 goals now, so he
more confident, isn't he?
More confident. He went chasing it in that game. He went chasing to get that penalty.
The referee moved the ball half an inch to the left. Was it? That was a bit of a concern to me. I thought, what's he doing?
Yeah. I don't really want to sucker into the officials, but I think he was guessing at what he was seeing rather than seeing.
A good penalty as well.
Yeah, he was confident, struck up, and shortly after that, the keeper's pulled off 2 great saves off Courtney.
And then the final, well, not the final goal, but the 4th goal. We've seen the 5th goal was Will Grocott, who I thought was played an exceptional game today again. Getting stronger every game.
Yeah, I mean, at times we can be too sort of short and cute little balls, and it's just finding that balance, because when it does come off, it works really well. I think we just probably over elaborate from time to time, so it's getting that balance. But we've worked extremely well in there. Keeper's pulled off a great save,
and there he is.
Will 2 and 2 now.
Where we were, where we were at, where was it? Polson, was it, or was it Frome? I think where from that close range we got the ball over the bar, didn't we? From Mr. Wright, but on that occasion it went in, and that was 4-1, believe it or not, and ended up 5-4. But 3 valuable points. A good
massive. And it's just a shame we can't come away with like a real defensive, strong performance and be really excited by the fact we've scored 8 goals in 2 games, and I felt there could have been a few more in there. So still lots more to work on.
Looking at other players to coming into the side.
Yeah, we're looking.
You changed it quite around.
Yeah, there's lots of things that we're looking at doing, moving forward. You call it phase 2. We've gave players numerous opportunities, and I mentioned at the end of the FA Cup game, we've been nearly men for too many games, and if I stick with nearly men all the time, then I will be very nearly going out the door because that is football.
Well, yeah, it is,
it's a results game.
2 wins, you're a hero. 2 defeats.
That's the world that I want to work in. I accept that, and I accept that people will challenge me if it's not working, and rightly so. And I think I've probably persevered with nearly being a positive person, thinking, we'll go get the ricochet this time, or and it hasn't. And maybe that's because a certain group are just in there. That's what they are, or the combination of the group. So we've dished out a few 7 days. There's lots of conversations. It is that time of year where people are unhappy. The season hasn't gone quite where they wanted it to be.
Evaluations
from the players and other managers, and I've always said this year was a building year and bringing people in as and when. I think obviously James's contribution, James Brighton, has concreted. Liam Caravan is really coming to the fore now, and we're doing a bit of work on there in terms of securing him.
I guess his fitness back.
His fitness is nowhere near. No. So I'm really excited what he can bring. A bit of luck on the injury front, Mulligan and Ollie.
How far Ollie Thorne off, do you think?
Well, he was in my office yesterday, and if I'm going by his reaction to the work that Rich was giving him, a month away. He looked in considerable pain.
Wow.
We think a week, hopefully. Next Saturday would be a good plus. And there's key players. And with a non-league, you try and wrap up your key players, but you've got to have strength to cover it. And we're just very vulnerable. I've probably signed too many similar players, but it's a project that's moving forward, and I honestly believe there will be more to come through. And as long as we can see progression, and at times it won't work.
It doesn't, does it?
It's football.
No define right from every game, have we?
No, but sometimes game plans can go out the window due to how the opposition play, or you try and put your onus on the game, and we had to tweak our tactics within the first 5 minutes because of shape and stuff, and it worked. But I'm governed by that result. There will be people today who will be telling me, well, X, Y, Z should have been happening, and do this, but that's the great thing about football, isn't it? You pick a different.
Everyone's a player, aren't they, or a manager?
Yeah, exactly. And the only thing that's really difficult as a coach and a manager is you do all your work, you do all your prep work, and you're doing the confidence. You that moment they're on the ball, or that moment they're making that decision, your advice is then in.
No, you can't do. It's the old classic cliche, isn't it? Once they step on that pitch, over that line, your job really is over to a certain extent. You
you've got to tweak things, and you're the one that's sending them out there. You're the one that's giving them instructions. But sometimes they got to take responsibility because the games do change, and it is it's an invasion sport. It's decision making sport, and like I said, our decisions have been too close, and we nearly went the wrong side again today. And maybe this is the type of game that we needed then to step on. A few things did go against us, but we've come away with 3 points. So
yes, 3 very important points. Can we carry that on to Biggleswade? We haven't won a midweek game. That's another voodoo we've got to try and break.
Crazy,
isn't it? Yeah, 4 defeats.
These things, football's crazy at times, isn't it? These things just come and roll out, and all of a sudden, psychologically, it becomes you know,
pressure point.
You've mentioned it straight away, and I try not to mention it to the lads because I'm sending them away, and already they're thinking, "Oh, Tuesday again," and you kind of.
It's rare, isn't it? It's rare that sort of.
And do you know what? I'm really struggling to get my head round. Yeah. Well, I mean, the only Tuesday fixture we won was that cup game, but we mixed it around a bit. Dunstable from the Telford game to Dunstable was just like
chalk and cheese.
Wow, that's the same 11.
A flattering scoreline though, wasn't it?
Yeah, but you know, we didn't win. Chippenham, I felt losing Ollie was key. That really hurt us. And the Tuesday game, I really felt that we were going to win. There weren't a point in that game, in that second half, that I felt that they were going to win. And 2 sucker punches, and that's why I'm saying we're too nearly.
Yeah.
And more people like you know, your Solkins, Mulligans, Brighton, you know, the better, and they'll allow our technical players to go do work, and we're just probably getting that balance. And the circumstances got to allow us as well. If we, you know, if everyone's fit, or we're not having the same areas always injured, then that will help us move forward. But we'll get there. I'm really confident. We're still in the mix. I mean, we what was it? A game in hand and still 6 points off.
Yeah, I mean,
so
there's no panic buttons to be pressed, is there? Let's be honest. I mean, we're not even halfway through the season yet, not even Christmas yet, and people are still, you know, sort of down crying Kettering. We've won today. It's a good 3 points. And,
it's expectation, and it's
a high club though, isn't it? For expectation.
Yeah, and it's the want to be successful. And do you know, I don't want to take away that.
No.
Because that's the driving force behind the club. So when we do go to Bamber Bridge and lose, no, it's not acceptable. We don't win on a Tuesday at home. Not acceptable. You know, and if you're going to be a player at this club, you've got to accept that. You know, for the level we're at, we're strong crowd base. We've got hungry fans. The fans made the club survive with the support, obviously, the chairman and all the working staff that do that. Went through a torrid time, and now there is progression at the club. Now, if they can't put the shirt on and graft and keep driving forward and understand that losing is not acceptable, then they're probably at the wrong club. And maybe there's 1 or 2 who are still getting their head round being at Kettering Football Club. And that's my job and my staff to make them understand. And like I say, that you learn by experience, and these boys will learn eventually. I've yet to, probably Bamber Bridge's first half is the first time I've heard the crowd actually bumbling around and unhappy, and rightly so, because the first 35 minutes we weren't grafting. If our boys work hard and be proud of that shirt, I know the 600 fans here will be as loud as they can be, yes, and accept. Okay, after the game we lose, we won't accept the result. I get that, and we'll look at moving it around, and people will be upset. But do you know what? They're back the next week, pushing them on. So, yeah, the lads have got to get their head round. There is standards of this club, and we're pushing very hard. You know, there's times I'm doing more hours for Kettering than I'm doing in my own job, but that's non-league football. And my wife wants to meet Alan Doyle because there's about 45 missed calls, and I'm sure Alan's wife is seeing 45 missed calls from me. We're on speed dial to each other at the moment, and but it's just good because the relationship's building. We're understanding each other. You know, Alan's heavily involved in recruitment, and you know, funny enough, it takes time again for us all to understand each other. You know, how I work and how everyone's worked here, and understanding people's perceptions and what they see of people. So we're in still a massive learning experience, but I think everyone involved wants the same thing, and
definitely
it's just a case of tweaking a few tugboats here and there just to get it in the right channel, and we can make this club a conference club without a shadow of a doubt.
Okay, Marcus, thank you very much for your frank views, and good to hear from the manager there after that thrilling 5-4 victory over Histon. And